Hello everyone. In this video I want to talk about Mrs. Murphy's Law. You've heard of Murphy's Law, anything that can go wrong will go wrong. But Mrs. Murphy looked at that and said, "Oh honey, that's adorable." Mrs. Murphy's Law is basically, anything that can go wrong, will get worse, will cost more than expected, and will happen when you're already tired. Murphy was an optimist. Mrs. Murphy was the one actually living there. Murphy's Law sounds theoretical, like it was invented by a guy in a lab coat. Mrs. Murphy's Law sounds like it was invented while holding groceries, keys in her mouth, phone ringing, oven beeping, and someone asking, "What's for dinner?" Murphy says, "Anything that can go wrong." Mrs. Murphy says, "And it will, because no one listened when I said we should have fixed it earlier." Mrs. Murphy's Law applies especially to home improvement. If you say, "This should be a quick fix," Mrs. Murphy hears that and starts pricing contractors. You try to fix one small thing, and suddenly you're at the hardware store for the fourth time, buying a tool you've never heard of, explained to you by a teenager named Tyler who doesn't make eye contact. The project that was supposed to take 20 minutes now requires permits, a YouTube tutorial, and couples counseling. Time behaves differently under Mrs. Murphy's Law. You'll have all the time in the world when nothing matters. But the moment you need to leave, that's when everything slows down. Shoes disappear, keys vanish, someone suddenly needs to discuss their feelings. You weren't late, time just teamed up with chaos. Mrs. Murphy's Law governs laundry. If something can shrink, it will. If something can bleed color, it will. On to the most expensive item you own. Socks do not disappear randomly, they leave intentionally. Somewhere there is a sock witness protection program, and Mrs. Murphy is tired of pretending it's not happening. Technology under Mrs. Murphy's Law is personal. The Wi-Fi works perfectly until guests come over. Then it's like, I don't know these people. The TV remote only stops working when you sit down comfortably, and your phone will never die when you're alone. But the second you need directions, it drops from 30% to call your loved ones. Mrs. Murphy's Law also applies to food. The thing you're craving will be out of stock. The backup option will be disappointing. And the thing you didn't want, that'll be available in bulk. If you're cooking for guests, something will burn, something will be undercooked, and someone will say, "Oh, I don't eat that." Like that wasn't important information earlier. Shopping is brutal under Mrs. Murphy's Law. You'll remember everything, except the one thing you actually needed. You don't realize it until you get home, put everything away, sit down, and feel peace for 3 seconds. That's when it hits you. And going back out feels illegal. Mrs. Murphy's Law rules over children, pets, and anything that depends on routine. If you need someone to behave, they won't. If you need quiet, something will beep. If you're on an important call, everyone in the house suddenly needs to scream, bark, cry, or ask deeply philosophical questions like, "Why can't we have dessert now?" Your body is also under Mrs. Murphy's jurisdiction. You will feel fine all day until bedtime. That's when your knee remembers 2007. You won't sneeze until your hands are full. You won't need the bathroom until you're comfortable. Mrs. Murphy's Law says your body waits for inconvenience out of respect for tradition. Social plans obey Mrs. Murphy's Law too. The event you're excited about gets cancelled. The event you're dreading goes on forever. If you finally get ready early, everyone else is late. If you're late, everyone else arrived early and is already bonded without you. And let's talk about confidence. The moment you say, "Everything's under control," Mrs. Murphy starts laughing because Mrs. Murphy knows nothing is under control. Things are simply behaving for now. That's not stability, that's suspense. The real difference between Murphy's Law and Mrs. Murphy's Law is awareness. Murphy noticed things went wrong. Mrs. Murphy knew they would, planned for it, warned everyone, and still got blamed when it happened. Murphy says, "Huh, interesting." Mrs. Murphy says, "I literally told you." So if your life feels like one long series of minor disasters, congratulations, you're not cursed. You're just living under Mrs. Murphy's Law. And the good news is, once you accept it, you stop being surprised. You're still annoyed. But now you're prepared. Because Mrs. Murphy doesn't stop chaos, she just survives it better than the rest of us. Thank you, everyone. If this went perfectly, don't worry. Mrs. Murphy's Law says something's about to break later in your home. Just kidding.